Hey, it's Roger. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple things. Number one is going to be how we control the number one position for the number one keyword for this business in this particular geographical area. And that radius is 21.6 miles. You can see here, this is a live Google map, and it's at 29.7 miles. I don't have a regular tracking of all the way out to 29 miles, but I know that we're ranking number one out here in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and show you this area. So this is 21.6 miles, and this is a very crowded tourist area. A lot of condos here, and there's a lot of forests and wetlands up here where you see all this green, and there's nothing there that's not where people are. They're all down here staying in condos along the beach. And I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to move this over and show you a map. Get this up here. And I'm going to show you a map of that depicts that we are ranking for this same 21.6 mile stretch, number one for almost 22 miles. Actually, it's 29, but I'm only tracking to here. So you can see, and this is just one keyword. I'm not going to show you the keyword, but there it is. I'm not going to show you that keyword because this is a live business. That's a number one keyword for making the phone ring in this area for the service that's provided by the client. And we're ranking number one, and I'm not going to tell you exactly where, but we're ranking number one. And the address of the business, normally you would track it from the middle of the area that you want to look, but actually this business is on one end or the other. I won't say which. And we are ranking number one for this keyword through the whole area. I can tell you that it's 21 miles away and 10 and a half miles away from the center of what you're looking at. So ranking number one for a 10-mile perimeter is strong as train smoke. Now, I'm going to have some friends that are watching this that don't have no idea what I'm talking about, but this is the kind of geeky stuff that I do all day. We manipulate Google's algorithm using CTR, backlinks, and a few other techniques, schema programming, and metadata and other stuff, so that Google likes what we're doing. It likes the signals we're sending. So we push our clients up in the three pack and make their phone ring for their business. So if for those that are not initiated, if you were in a town you were visiting and you typed pizza into your phone, you would get a map that would pop up, and then there would be three listings below that. And those three listings garner 80 to 85% of the business that's done over the internet when somebody is using Google Maps. And that's what it is Google Maps. So being in the three pack, in the 1, 2, or 3 position, is everything to a business, no matter what it is. Now, some businesses are going to be higher volume than others on a daily basis. Like a restaurant is going to be a lot higher volume than, say, a clothing store, because everybody eats 3 times a day, but you don't go buy clothes 3 times a day every day. So this means different things to different businesses. But the fact is if you fall down into number 4 in the position 4, you're going to get probably 80% less phone calls or less business than you would if you were in the 3 pack. So, and what I'm, and let me, I'm just going to quickly try to tell you everything that we do to get to this position. This is a video for my potential CTR clients. We do manual CTR and we do programmatic CTR. That's called click-through rate. It's just an acronym for click-through rate. And this shows engagement to Google's algorithm. And the more engagement you show to Google's algorithm, the higher they will rank you, which means you get more engagement, which means the higher they will rank you, which means you get more engagement, which means you get the point. So this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. We do this with backlinks. We do this with on-page SEO. We do it with technical SEO, schema, metadata. We're getting all of that stuff right, and we're matching our GMB listing information to our website. When those match very well in content and factual things like name, address, and phone number, you really start making traction here. But for my CTR clients, the big question is, which keywords do we want to choose? Do we want to choose a short tail keyword that everybody's trying to rank for? No, usually not. That's not something we want to do. There's a ton of competition, ton of people going for that. So what we want to do is get a longer tail keyword, something that still has a decent amount of traffic and will make the phone ring or make people force people to walk in the door because they find you very easily. And that's what all of this is about. It's about ease of use for the searcher or the visitor to your website or your GMB listing. The easier it makes it for them to walk in your door. The higher you are in the 3-pack, the more customers you're going to get. But you've got to start with keywords. Now, I'm going to show you here that you see we were number one for this keyword here in February, then same in March, and then the same in March again. And then a couple of days ago, this is Good Friday, a couple of days ago, I changed the keywords out because I know we're doing fantastic with this set of keywords. And you can see there were 65 keywords in the list here, 65 keywords in the list here, 65 keywords in the list here, and 22 in the keyword list here. And I exchanged those keywords. This list of 22 does not have the same keywords that were in this list of 65. We're doing very well with this list of 65 keywords. In fact, the phone's ringing off the hook, and we've got really more business than we can do with this particular client. So what we want to do now is we want to go to a list of keywords that we're not ranking very well for. Now, how do we know that? Because we use a software called SEO Utils. And this tells us what our rankings are based on the keyword, based on the proximity to the business or the distance away from the business, and also in proximity is where we search from. So you can see we were searching from the business address here, here, and here. But here, we not only changed the keywords, but we changed the latitude, longitude from where we're actually performing the search. So we're able to spoof our geolocation in order to do the search. Now, normally, if you saw a business that was tracking its rankings for a keyword, you usually put the business in the middle of this, which would give you 10 and a half miles this way, 10 and a half miles this way, or 10 and 3/4 actually. But I can tell you that this business in particular is at one end or the other of this line that's 21.6 miles long. I won't tell you which one, but it's not in the middle. I can tell you that. So the proximity that we've been able to create with CTR, manual CTR and programmatic CTR, along with good on-page SEO, schema, metadata, and all those things that I'm going to tell you about when you make a purchase and for the service. I'm going to send you a form, and all of this information, I'm going to ask you, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And if you don't have that, that's something we need to know, because that is going to affect how we approach your situation. Not This is not a cookie cutter thing. There are ways to do it that give you more bang for your buck. That's how we're able to get the number one ranking for the number one keyword for a 22-mile stretch. All number one. It produces tons of phone calls, more business than this one business client can actually take in a day. So it's more than their capacity. But we still want to keep the pressure on the competition. So we changed our geolocation, latitude, longitude. We changed the list of keywords. And you can see that we're not doing too well with this list of 22 keywords. We're averaging 21 or over. Where do we want to be? We want to be 3 and under on average. But we're averaging 21 and over on this new set of keywords. And those are the ones that we want to work on. And that's important for the next thing that I'm about to show you. Ranking keywords. This is how you're going to choose which keywords you're going to send us. Okay? So, again, we don't want to choose the keywords that we're ranking number 21 for. That's a long shot. That's going to take us more time than a month to do. This could take us, it could take us 3 months to get all these keywords to doing better so that they actually produce some phone calls. These are not producing phone calls. You can forget about it. This is page 3. Okay. If you go beyond page 1, nobody's looking. And probably 80% of the people only look at the top 3. So what is our goal? To get our keywords into the top 3. How are we going to do that? How can we get the best bang for our buck when we're choosing keywords for the CTR service that you're about to order? And this is how you do it. We have one that is averaging 2.0 position month over month. Okay. Then we have one that's ranking in the 3rd position month over month. So these two are doing pretty well, right? But this one is ranking past the 3rd position, which means it's showing in the 3rd spot sometimes, and sometimes it's showing lower than the 3rd spot, which means nobody's seeing it, because nobody sees anything at 4 and above. So our goal, and the way we're going to get the most bang for our buck, is to start your CTR campaign with all of these keywords that are between 3 and 10. Okay. So let's take a look at it. We only concentrate on 5 at a time, and we want them to be extremely relevant to one another. So how do you choose your 5? You just find the keywords in your ranking software. And if you don't have ranking software, let me know. We can put yours into ours. That is not a problem. That is a small upcharge to do for you. If you don't know what your keywords are, we'll choose them for you. But all of these that are 3.4, 3.9, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 keywords that you should choose. Okay? These I can push these into the 3-pack quicker than I can push one that averages 10.2 into the 3-pack, or one that averages 16.8 into the 3-pack, or one that is somewhere beyond page 2, which it may as well be Mars, because nobody's going to see it. They're not going to produce any phone calls there. So what we want to do is exponentially increase your phone calls by working on these top 5 words that we know we can push into the 3-pack quicker. This gets you quicker results. It gets your client phone calls quicker. And then the more keywords we get into the 3-pack for, the more keywords that will follow, because all of the engagement, all of the organic engagement, once we get these into the 3-pack, is it's going to increase your engagement exponentially. And then the next month, we just come back to this list and we go to work on these 5. Okay. And now we've exponentially increased the phone calls for this client in a matter of say a 30 to 60 day period, maybe a 30 to 90 day period. Really depends on the competition. It depends on the time of year. There are so many different variables that go into this as to what we can actually do. Your competition level in, say, the insurance market or the mortgage market or the remortgage market, those are really, really tough. And you can bet there are some guys in there that know what they're doing, that are already doing this. So the only way to overcome them is to beat them at their own game. But there's so much money in that. That's where most people gravitate to. All the really, really, really good SEOs work in those markets, and I guarantee you they're doing CTR in order to beat the competition. And you can do the same thing. And in the local market, it's a little bit easier. But we're in the States, so the mortgage industry is a huge industry, just like insurance, and there's competition on the national level that is incredible. I mean, all the guys that used to do SEO for pills and porn, they're now in the mortgage business. They're pushing mortgages. They're pushing payday loans. They're pushing high volume, big money dollars for those businesses that are high volume and big money, like insurance and mortgage brokerages and things like that. So this is the best approach to do it. And this also does something else for you. If you use a rank tracking software to track your GMB with keywords, so you'll know exactly where they are, then you also know that these keywords are going to pop a 3-pack. And what do I mean by that? When I say pop a 3-pack, I mean any of these keywords are going to show a 3-pack. Okay. Not every keyword a local business uses is going to show a 3-pack. Google's got a very sophisticated algorithm that does this. It's not done manually. And that algorithm will not show a map pack for every keyword that business would like to rank for. So this ensures that you're choosing, number one, keywords that pop a map pack, and number two, you're ensuring that you are choosing the keywords that will give you the best results the quickest. And that's what it's all about for your client. People think SEO is voodoo. I've been in it 18 years, and believe me, it was all voodoo 18, 20 years ago. Nobody really even believed that SEO was a thing, hardly. So, but they're still apprehensive about it, namely because there's so much cold calling going on and so many people that speak English as a second language and call on them. And if they happen to talk them into it, and sometimes they don't deliver. So a lot of people have been burned. This is a way for you to reclaim your reputation and reclaim the business that your client thinks they deserve to have. So this is a true problem solver. And also, when you order, I'm going to teach you a lot of other things about on-page SEO, schema, and the like. Backlinks. We use Cloud Stacks for backlinks exclusively. And sometimes it takes one tier, sometimes two tiers, sometimes three tiers um, to get things where we want it to be or to where you saw this um, overview at number one for a 21.6 mile stretch. Okay, this is a combination of all of those things put together. CTR didn't do this alone. CTR was a big part of it, though, and using different geolocations across this 21.6 mile stretch to do the searches and then getting engagement from those geolocations is one of the things that helped us expand that proximity and still stay in the number one position. So I hope all that made sense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I appreciate your time. And for all my friends that have no idea what I'm talking about, this is the geeky stuff I do all day.